We good, Brett?
Sure.
Okay. We'll bring this meeting to order for the Orange Township Board of Zoning Appeals for February 17th, 2022. I'm going to call roll.
Mr. Shipley?
Yes.
Ms. Sandar?
Yes.
Mr. Oster?
Yes.
Ms. Ross?
Yes.
Mr. Trebs?
Yes.
Okay. We would like to have a moment of silence in remembrance of Cindy Davis, our zoning secretary. Next would be the swearing in of witnesses. Anyone who intends to testify, please raise your right hand to be sworn. Do you solemnly swear that the testimony that you shall give shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? State, I do.
I do.
When it's your turn to offer testimony, please state your full name, address, and affirm that you've been sworn in. And I would also like to remind everybody to mute their phones.
All right. So the first case on the agenda is Variance Case Va-21-20. The applicant and owner is Microcom Corporation. The site is 855 Corduroy Road, Lewis Center, Ohio. Parcel ID number of 318-280-14005-000. It's zoned planned industrial district. They're seeking an area variance from the Orange Township Zoning Resolution, Section 22.03 C1, to allow for a wall sign to be above the maximum permitted height. They are asking for a wall sign that will be 22 feet when the permitted height is 15 feet in an area zone planned industrial district. The surrounding areas to the north is multi-family planned residential district. It's Orange Grand Apartments. To the south is planned industrial. It's Corduroy Road and an industrial use. To the east is also planned industrial and it's Hoshizaki. To the west is planned industrial district and it's Banyan. We provided a zoomed out aerial of the site, and then also a zoomed in aerial of the site. So under the staff review, the variance request is from section 22.03 C1. Such sign should be located at the maximum height of 15 feet above finished grade. The proposed wall sign they're proposing is 22 feet in height above the finished grade, so it'll exceed the 15 feet height by 7 feet. And this is roughly a 47% variance request from the Orange Township Zoning Resolution. And then it's updated since this was continued from last month. This request changed from a 10 feet request to a 7 feet request. And the percentage went from 67% to 47% due to this change in the variance request. Exhibit 1 is the sign details. Show the proposed height at 22 feet. Then we did go out and take some site photos just to show the location. It is under construction currently. And that is all that I have.
Okay, is there anyone who'd like to speak?
Yep. I also sent perspectives on the building with the new sign height as well. They're not in the presentation. Oh, you may have them there.
They have them
just
there.
not
I'll
up
provide
there.
it to them. Yes.
Okay. All right. I wanted to make sure that you could see what it looks like now with the 22 feet versus the higher.
State your name and address, please.
Yes, my name is David Dezay. The address is 855 Corduroy Road, Lewis Center, Ohio. Last name's Deze, D-E, Z as in zebra, S as in Sam, E as in Edward. I've done that a few million times.
This is a carryover from last meeting. I don't think there was any discussion about the sign itself. It was the height of the sign.
Yep.
So it's been reduced 22 feet presently.
Yeah, it was reduced. What was it? What was it before? I think it was
10
yeah, it's 10 foot over, so it was 25 feet before.
747.
Right. It's still a big ask.
It is.
Anything over 25%. Do you have anything to add other than?
Yeah, I've got a couple things to add. When we were evaluating the sign placement this time, we took it all the way down to the 15. Looks really bad. There's currently a building up there that is east of us that has it at the 15, but they went ahead and put additional signage clear at the top of the building for their road number because you can't see their sign. It's too low. It gets blocked by cars that are in the parking lot. So we view that as a problem. We also intend to landscape pretty heavily around the building. We've got a pretty substantial budget there. And if I put it at the 15, you can't put any landscape near the building on that corner of the building at all. So our goal is to actually have the signage where you can see it in an aesthetically pleasing place in order to make the building look nice, and then add landscaping around the front of the building to additionally enhance the curb appeal of the overall facility. We do have customers that come into our facility quite a bit, and we're spending quite a bit of money on the building, so we want it to look really nice. So those are parts of the reasons. The other part of the reason is we have truck deliveries, and if they can't find your building, they send you a bill. So even if you have it marked pretty clear, they'll miss it. So, those are the main reasons for placing the sign where we have it now.
Jeff, this is the current perspective here.
Yes, 22 feet.
That puts the sign directly in line
With the windows. You are exactly right.
Yeah, I was going to say it looks like it is exactly in line. With
Yeah.
this.
If you bring it below, it almost looks like a mistake. I actually think that it looks better now than it did maybe in the higher position because it is in alignment with the upper windows.
That's not that that's a eye catching.
Mm-hmm.
I think it looks like it.
In your landscaping, are you intending to mound up any dirt or anything to?
No, we don't want to change the grade, but we intend to put shrubbery around the base of the building and a couple trees out in front of it.
What's the height of the trees?
The height of the trees will probably be somewhere around 7 to 8 feet, something like that.
Okay, so the top of the trees are still almost 5 feet below the sign.
Mm-hmm. That's to begin with.
Yeah.
Trees are going to grow.
Then I'll ask you, what's the maximum height of the trees you're?
We'll probably put in some sort of dwarf maple. Max height will take us right about to the base of the sign. We do have a, I kind of watched the sketches and stuff there, and I thought if you wanted to see it, we could show you kind of a perspective of what we were thinking about with the greenscape. So, the trees and the shrubs on the corner of the building would actually, you'd still have a visible sign.
But the way you have it imaged, there's a tree on the end of the entrance, the left end as we're looking at it, and a tree about in the middle. There's nothing on the end of the building, the left end.
Yeah, we've got, these shrubs will get about 4.5 or 5 feet tall, and then, but the end of the sign protrudes to about right here.
Okay.
But I thought you might want to see that.
Yeah. And you've sketched that in at the starting height, the way it looks to me.
Yeah, that's about the starting position of the landscape. We have a pretty substantial budget for landscape. Because, I mean, we want buildings real nice.
Scott, I think this is the top of the first floor. We're at the 15th floor. I mean, that's how our code reads. Right. 15th
Have
floor
you given
or
a thought
top,
of
yeah, or the top.
like 20 or 19, like somewhere in the middle?
Well, what I did was, based on the last time, I asked if you guys could give me some guidance there. So now what I'm trying to do is just kind of dial in on where we want to be.
Okay.
The higher the sign, the better it looks, only because of the height of the building. I mean, the building's pretty tall. So if you put it too low, it looks like a mistake. So we're trying to dial in on the magic number, I guess.
Is there any other questions?
No.
Does anybody want to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make one.
We want to make sure there's nobody else in the audience.
Oh, okay.
Make sure.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else that wants to speak on this matter? Okay.
So I'm looking at the that building particularly. We take into consideration, it's 47%, so it's substantial. We have a list of items we go through, as we talked about before. So, but I do agree, aesthetically, I think that's probably comes across. That's just me. So, based upon that information, based upon the new perspective drawing that I have here, and going through our no-go criteria, based on those factors, I would move to approve VA 2120 property at Quarterray Road.
I would second.
We have a motion made by Mr. Shipley to approve variance case VA-21-20, seconded by Mr. Oster. Those voting, Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
No?
Ms. Sandar.
No.
Motion carried.
Means we're good?
You're good.
Thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. That the thick one?
It is. It's heavy stuff. When I picked it up, I did it at home.
Yeah. You know what? Keep all these, Jeff, and then, run them through for next month on the backside.
All right, our next case is variance case VA-22-01. The applicant and owner is Amanda and Alex Kerber. The site is 8746 Clarksdale Drive in Lewis Center. The parcel ID is 318-341-10 007-000, zone single-family plan residential district. Now they're requesting 2 variances from the Orange Township zoning resolution and the Oak Creek subdivision. The first one is to allow for a 4-foot fence around a swimming pool. That is a variance from the 5-foot requirement of the Orange Township zoning resolution. Then they're also seeking a variance of 10 feet from the rear yard setback. The subject property is located east of Clarksdale Drive, on the east of Clarksdale Drive, and is owned by Amanda and Alex Kerber. The surrounding areas is all zone single-family plan residential district. To the north and south, you have single-family residences. To the east is HOA open space and ponds. And then to the west is Clarksdale Drive, and then single-family residence. We have a zoomed-out aerial of the site, and then also a zoomed-in aerial of the site. And then for the staff review, have area variance from Orange Township zoning resolution section 21.05C, the fence height requirement of 5 feet. All swimming pools shall be walled or fenced, shall not be less than 5 feet in height. The fence height is proposed as 4 feet in height. The applicant is requesting a 1-foot variance to allow for the fence to be less than the required 5 feet. This is a 20% request from the Orange Township zoning resolution section 21.05. The second variance is area variance from rezoning case 3038 Oak Creek rear yard setback. The rear yard setback is 25 feet. The applicant is proposing an in-ground pool with a safety cover that will encroach 10 feet into the rear yard setback. A variance of 10 feet is requested. This is a 40% variance request. This request changed from 15 feet to 10 feet, and the percentage went from 60% to 40% due to this change in variance request. We did provide a site plan showing the proposed pool outlined. Then they provided a picture of the rear of the house to show the bump out that they were discussing at the last meeting last month. And there's a view of the house from South Old State and then from Clarksdale Drive. And we do have some site photos. So the cone represents where the edge of the pool would be based on the site plans that were provided. And that's all that I have.
So that cone is going to be the edge of the pool or the concrete that's going around it?
The edge of the pool. That's what we measure to. We don't measure the concrete around it.
That's what I thought. It looked awful close to the fence.
Was there another image below this one?
That's actually for the next property.
Oh, okay.
Jeff, can you go back to the previous picture, please? Thank you.
The site drawing that we have in our packet shows the existing fence, and then it shows a 7-foot area where the walkway around the pool, the deck goes, and then that is supposedly 3 feet wide before it hits the pool. So it'd be 10 feet from the fence. That doesn't really look like 10 feet.
Yeah, it's kind of deceiving, isn't it? That's exactly what I thought, because
Yeah.
that's supposed to be 10 foot.
It is 10 feet. We
Yeah.
measured it.
Just doesn't look like much, especially
No.
on the other photo.
Yeah, the other photos were much
Yeah,
at an angle, so we didn't get true.
yeah.
This isn't that.
But that's still, not quite a section and a half of the fence in there. Should be right in line with the 10.
Any additional comments from the owners?
And Kerber. What's your to say? My address?
Yep.
Okay, yeah, 8746 Clarksdale Drive.
Your name and address.
Oh yeah, Amanda Kerber. Okay.
And now you've been sworn in.
All right, very good. Yes, I was sworn in. Okay. Yeah, it definitely doesn't look that way, but if you measured it, it's a little deceiving. Yeah, the initial plan that we had was not representative of what it was supposed to be. So, and I apparently didn't notice that. But this is more what we had in mind. So to have the pool further away from the house to give some room in there. So it like at least 11 feet away.
Question for
Yes.
you. So behind the fence,
Mhm.
there's another 5 feet to your lot. Is that correct?
That's on the plan. Is that correct? I mean, it's,
Yeah, that's what it looks like.
yeah, I think, yes. And then from there, it's the pond. It just kind of drops off
Right.
into the retention pond.
I think we went over this last time, but any feedback from neighbors?
We
HOA?
The HOA had sent a message saying that they were okay with it as long as the township was, that they had no issues with it. And then there were neighbors that were in support of it. We had the map last time that had
Yeah.
four
Both the ones
neighbors
on
around.
either side.
They're getting season passes.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, I think we made that clear last time. And then others. And then there's others that we weren't able to chase down because it was freezing cold back when we started this process. Chasing down people while they're shoveling their driveways.
Weren't interested in talking about a pool.
Yes. At that time, you are. I mean, you could say like, "Whoa, that sounds amazing." Yeah. But yeah, it was. I wasn't interested in walking around outside for an hour. Yeah, but I mean, in general, I haven't encountered anyone that is opposed to it in the neighborhood. And we have a pool down the street that was put in last summer. That also required a variance, I think, as well.
I think the pictures were good to show that heating box.
Yeah, I was
Your
like, I got to make
fireplace,
sure to make sure
Because that does kind of create
nobody's.
a hazard,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
yeah. Well, and
You might
nobody has
remember
bopped
that.
their head on it in the, I don't know, like almost 15 years we've been living there. So 10 years of children.
But in reality, you'll have more activity around.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's still that, I think there's still that little like kind of buffer in there to kind of keep people off of that area.
Are there any other questions?
No.
So are we talking specifically about the setback variance right now? Talk about fence.
Yeah, I think we've already come to the conclusion that the fence is a moot point. As long as you're putting a locking cover on it, we have been accepting that.
That's all I want to verify.
And in that case, I think, Jeff, didn't you say that we can kind of add everything together instead of keeping it separated?
As long as they're the same motion, or the same,
Same decision.
yeah.
I move to approve both of them.
I second.
A motion made by Mr. Treves to approve variance case VA-22-01 for both variances for variance request of the 4-foot height fence and also the setback, the 10-foot setback variance in the rear yard setback. Seconded by Ms. Sandar. Those voting, Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
No.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Treves,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
You're good to go.
Pool party.
Enjoy.
Yeah.
Enjoy the pool.
We had a consolation prize.
You must be Jeff.
Yeah.
How could we tell?
All right, the next case is variance case VA-22-02. The applicant owner is Jeff Hume. The site is 2825 Jean Court, Lewis Center. Parcel ID is 318-133-02-030-000. It's zone single family plain residential district. They're seeking an area variance from rezoning case 3752 Cross Creek to allow for a deck to encroach in the rear yard setback. And they're asking for a 6 feet encroachment into the 30-foot rear yard setback in an area zone single family plain residential district. Now, the subject property is located east of Jean Court and owned by Amber and Jeff Hume. The surrounding areas are all zoned single family plain residential district. To the north is HOA open space and single family residence behind that. At the south is Jean Court and single family residence. East and west are both single family residences. We provided you a zoomed out aerial of the site and then also a zoomed in aerial of the site. For the staff review, the area variance from rezoning case 3752 Cross Creek, the rear yard setback is 30 feet. The proposed deck would encroach 6 feet into the 30-foot setback. This request would be a 20% request from rezoning case 3752 Cross Creek. We provided an exhibit 1, which is the site plan showing the new deck outline over an old deck. And then this exhibit here is one that this is the approved permit that we have on file for this site. What they have listed is that it is a patio, but it was really a wood deck that was installed. So we thought the wood deck was just a small yellow area, which is what it's highlighted, but then the patio, I believe they must have told one of the former zoning staff that it was a patio, and so they didn't look at the setbacks on this one. So it was in the setbacks when he bought the property. So this was kind of a tricky situation trying to figure out what was what when we thought this was what was there. So then they've provided their mortgage survey that shows that deck all the way out there. And then he provided some pictures. And he has actually torn it apart, so it's not there right now. So when we show the site photos, it will not be there. And then we have some site photos. There were some that got mixed with the last application, so I'll have to go back to those. The cone represents where it will go into. That is the distance from the house that they're proposing. That's all that I have.
Please state your name, your address, and that you've been sworn in.
Jeff Hume, 2825 Gene Court, Lewis Center, 43035. Yes, I've been sworn in. If you look at those photos, I don't know how anyone could say, I don't know if it's going to look better.
That's a good point. I was really confused on.
The guy who built the last thing was too. I mean, if you look underneath, there's double 6x6s wrapped in plywood.
So you're ripping out that,
So I ripped
like,
off
open
that
room up there,
It's
kind of like an open.
It's a 4-foot section, and then 4 6x6 posts with uneven distance between them. Oh, you can't see it because it's black and white. There, you might be able to see it. You just can zoom in.
Okay.
That's holding the third floor up.
Oh, okay.
So they're not even spaced. One's got 3 feet, one's got 4 feet, one's got 2.5 feet of space between them. See?
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind
And
of.
then the third story is the same as the first story that I removed early on during COVID when we were starting this project, and didn't realize that made it worse by getting rid of some of the eyesore. Because that was way into the built back line. That was 20 feet off that T111 on its side wall. That's T111 this way instead of engineered to go vertical. Instead of siding, it was easier, I guess, for them.
Out of the box question, what is the year built of this house?
Year built?
Uh-huh.
It says everywhere from 01 to 02. I think you guys have it as 02, but the concrete says 01. The house is built in 01.
So, according to the graphic,
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing looks a little different to me as far as do those.
Those are there,
Decks are-
but you don't see. They don't show it in that engineering drawing because they've always been there because they just drew it as one huge deck
Okay.
in that engineering drawing from when I bought it.
So how far do those come out from?
From the house right now,
Yeah.
about, I forget if it's 8 or 10 feet right now.
Because they look like they take up.
Because
every bit.
that bump out, I don't know if you'll show it on a sideways, is 6 feet. So see the real
Okay.
thick? That's 6 feet out. And it's another 3 feet, maybe 4. It's 10 feet.
Where was the piece that you tore off?
So it came,
No, don't move there, thank you.
it went, so that's at 20 feet the cone, correct?
Mhm.
Which is, it went another 8 feet out. It was 20 feet off the front of that T111 deck.
So have some grass already, so that's why we're not.
We brought in dirt and, when they were there the other day, the site plan, it's still sinking. Like the dirt and stuff.
Just when you had grass there and I saw the images of you
Mhm.
tearing it apart, I thought, you got grass growing really quick.
No, I took this down and COVID started in 20.
Yeah.
So,
So it's been
Everybody
2
lost track of
years.
the time.
May, June of 20.
Okay.
And then wood went skyrocket. Now I'm in construction, so I didn't have time to do anything. And I still don't, so I have to hire someone to do it. But, so we took it down. And that's when we stopped. It was 2 sheets of marine grade 3/4 inch plywood, 7/8 backer board, and stucco over it. I guess to make it look like a patio. I didn't realize they had called it a patio till turned it in. So you can see that's.
Yeah, most of your patios.
That was 4
like a
dumpsters.
paver.
Or 20-yard dumpster.
Is the tree very close by?
There's a tree that's got to get cut down. It's growing almost into the house on the other side, right there. Yeah.
Yeah.
So your new one isn't going to be 20 foot out, it's going to be, 14?
The house.
oh, it's going to be 20 off of the house?
No, so off the back of the house, depending which way you're going, so off the back wall, coming out towards the property line,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be 20 total feet, 16 of a room and a 4-foot deck.
That's the part that was getting me.
And it's going to be 14 feet wide because I got to have steps to get downstairs, and I can't bring the steps out past the house. That makes sense. So, see, the steps can't come out where the air conditioner is, or they got to stay inside the house. Unless you guys want to approve it, but that happens that way. So, we just did that from the store. So, if you see that window, I don't know if you can tell it's a window up right there.
Uh-huh.
The left edge of it, as we're looking at it, will be the end of the room, and then it'll be like 7 inches inside that. And then
Okay, so the stairs are to the left of that.
yes, did you get that packet with all the pictures?
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
really confused on.
Sorry, my contractor had COVID, so I don't normally do this.
Because, you know, the
So
first thing I saw, it said removed, new room is replacing. So
Mhm.
I didn't know if you were actually doing a room addition.
It's kind of like a 3-season type room, I guess you could call it.
On,
Not on any of the thing they've built.
right,
Tear-
you're taking all that.
All
out.
the way down, yeah. And we got to replace, I hope not much, but some studs on the wall because the way they flashed it when they built it, it leaks. It's a big moldy mess.
That's the same thing. So dark.
But this is more wider.
Yeah, but these stairs are here.
Oh, okay.
So you don't see the stairs in some of the pictures because I've taken them off and then put some wood up there so none of my
Yeah.
kids fell off the deck.
So
'Cause
Yeah,
we started this months ago in Delaware County and then they waited
So we don't have it.
5 or 6 weeks to let us know we had to start here.
And
Yeah.
this-
Would have been helpful.
That's what it looked like before, so those are the
Yes.
stairs going
Yeah.
down, that's the patio piece here.
Yep, and you can see how much further out it sticks than the concrete patio on the left. That's still currently there on a 30-degree angle. I think one of my neighbors might have sent in a note that
Yeah, we
they're more than happy to see
one
the.
neighbor was emailed and said they were had no issues.
I
Only
did
person
see
that
that.
reached out to us. So
I did see that.
The HOA, do we have the,
I have an approval from them.
you have that?
So you're going to replace the deck.
Everything. It's going to take it all the way down to the side.
It's going to be pretty much the same dimensions as what you tore out.
No, it's smaller.
It's smaller. Well, that's what it's showing here. But
But that's not even up to proper drawing to what was actually there. It's a foreclosed home. So the survey, I don't know when it was from before I bought
okay,
it. So it wasn't even, they didn't redo a new one because the bank didn't want to pay for it.
yeah, I was looking at this and I'm going,
we knew when we bought it that it had to be torn down eventually. There was a 16-foot homemade playground, 2x4s, 2x8s.
That was the mortgage survey that he got when he bought the house.
That's why it's always a good idea to come here and find out what they did and what was approved before you buy a house.
I might have not been
A lot of
able to
people
buy it
don't
if
do
they did that.
Yeah.
I don't think you guys would have sold the house. It was pretty bad. You can tell 2/3 of the wood highlighted decks were never built, which is a blessing.
I was just gonna ask you, the ones on the right-hand side were never built, right?
No, which is good. I have to take them down.
Yeah.
It's the unit, the one that's there is anchored into the house wrong. I don't know how it got final permit. Its weight is resting on the house. It's trying to pull the house apart.
Well, the good thing is, to me, is you've got green space behind you. It looked like this whole development back there pretty much had green space in between most all the houses.
Yeah, that's unbuildable. I think the sewer or something goes through it. It's someone from some department in Orange Township walks it twice a month. It's kind of a flood area at this point, but beaver or something damned it. When the snow and we get a hard rain.
Okay.
I don't know.
Nothing?
Yeah.
Anybody want to, think there's anybody else that wants to say anything either way? Anybody want to make a motion one way or another?
I'll make a motion. So I'll make a motion that we approve VA 2202.
Second.
Motion made by Mr. Shipley to approve variance case VA-22-02, seconded by Mr. Krebs. As voting, Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Ross,
Yes.
Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Krebs,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you guys very much.
You're welcome. Have fun.
Yeah, that's
Good
what I was
luck.
gonna say, have fun.
Good
You
luck.
have to bring a backhoe to get that.
I would use as much plastic wood as I could on all that stuff.
Well, yeah, it's going to be composite. Maintenance is a bad word.
Yeah.
Hey, I was just thinking this, none of my business, but could you guys get with the HOAs and say, you can't approve someone until you get Orange Township approval?
Well,
Because I got that first, because, Delaware, I knew Delaware wouldn't get it. I didn't realize I had to come here. So then I spent a month and a half in Delaware. Then the guy was like, oh, because of COVID, no one saw it. Sorry. We would have kicked it back to you from the start. That was last year. Then held on to it for a while. Didn't think it would take long. Then got started here.
yeah.
Missed it by a day the first month, I think. And then,
At one point, we kind of considered a pool, and another wrench gets thrown in there. Now you got to go to the insurance company
oh, yeah.
because they got like a yay or a nay for liability.
But I mean, like
But,
the
yeah, you
homeowners
have to-
insurance, the homeowner association, they act like they're the judge, jury, and execution. They're the hardest ones to deal with.
Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, then, because I think if they showed every one of my neighbors has built something that I guarantee is not been approved or
Well, I
in
saw
the
that
last
in
20
notes,
years.
and I figured Jeff might have taken notice of that, but, yeah, I mean, in all of these different subdivisions, they all have different rules.
Well, that's
and
what I'm
they're all
saying. Everyone
different.
just thought you just go to the HOA if you need a Delaware.
No, you gotta
Yeah.
go to all of them, yeah. And
It's my first township living experience. We've been here 8 years. I had to do anything like that, so.
yeah, and we hear that from a lot of people. Yeah, you've got to look at everybody's criteria.
Mhm.
And I know, when we were looking at a pool, it came down. Now the insurance company said it had to be chain linked over the top and everything. So it could be locked down.
Jeez.
For liability
That
reasons.
really makes it a fun swimming experience.
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
I'm
man, the
going,
rusty fence is dripping on me again.
wow, that's pretty extreme. Never mind,
Well, you guys have a great day.
All right, thank you.
You too.
We did have another thing that we added to the agenda, which was the minutes from February BZA hearing.
Yep.
Yeah. I know we had some corrections that Mr. Travis provided, and then have some from Ms. Ross.
I'm not sure they're corrections, Jeff.
Okay.
They were questions in my mind. And
If it was stated that way,
Okay.
kind of.
well, one it says it's 12 inches instead of 12 feet. 12 inches didn't make sense in that context.
Right.
That's page. Of course, we don't
Page
have
26.
Yeah, I know.
But you can you project those?
I did not have them up on
Okay.
there, but it was, you had it as page 26.
Yeah,
Line 4.
4, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought about bringing it up on my phone, but I can't read it that small.
Me neither.
Yeah, I assume it would probably be feet for 26.
Okay.
Then on page 24, you had line 11.
The word was what? That's what threw me off. Recuse or something?
Recuse.
Yeah, but it didn't fit the sentence, but you were the one that said it, Aaron, so,
What?
yeah. Well, according to the transcript.
Maybe it wasn't page 24, because page 24, that would not be in that line.
Sorry, you're reading that one.
It'd be page 34.
Oh, sorry.
Are you right? But that was my regress. Not sure if there's room to pull it back.
You got it? You expanded about tenfold.
Yeah, I know. I think what I said was that was my guess.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Like I said, that was my guess. I'm not sure. That. You're usually all over it, so I didn't make it.
He's really good
I
at it.
know he is. That's why I didn't.
Then we had a few more on page 7. It should be abstain instead of sustained. On line 3. Hey, you're good. That's what we send them out for. Page 16 should read. I don't have any on line 13. Page 26, line 14. Take out the word is, and it should read Amanda Kerber. On page 27, line 11, should be wheel, or wheel should not be capitalized. On page 38, line 16, it should own that should read on that. Then page 46, line 9, it should be abstain and not abstained. Those are all the corrections that I have.
I'll make a motion that we approve the changes Jeff has documented.
I second.
Motion made by Mr. Oster to approve the minutes from February 17th BZA meeting as amended, seconded by Ms. Sandar. Those voting, Mr. Shipley,
Yes.
Ms. Ross, Mr. Oster,
Yes.
Mr. Travis,
Yes.
Ms. Sandar.
Yes.
Then one last thing, it's not on the agenda, but we did, our new zoning director did start. He is here present with us. It is Robin Duffy. We also have one of the alternates, Pamela Foster, here as well. So Robin's been here just over a week. So I'll let you know this is our new zoning director, and you guys can chat with him afterwards if you wish. But other than that, that is all that I have.
So this is a new guy we hit up for raises and all that stuff, right?
Right. I'm the one.
Equipment, just all kinds of stuff.
That's all that I have.
Okay. Meeting adjourned.